This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield and his better half, Marnie Winfield.
Check.
Check. Check
Check a microphone.
Check a microphone.
It is the 24th of April, 2021. My name is Corey Winfield.
This is Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Welcome. And right off the bat, Tyrone, he's their voice guy there, he wanted me to send a shout out. See, Tyrone's camping in Traverse City. Mm-hmm. And he said that he's going to try to get some of his buddies that he's camping with to listen to the podcast.
Nice.
Because he said a lot of substance use disorder going on now where he's camping. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to turn it up real loud. I guess he's got one of those, what they call JVC? No. It's some kind of speaker. Mm-hmm. Sort of a J. I don't remember the rest of it. But it's loud. Mm-hmm. And it's like a really good speaker. I just can't remember the name of it. So what's up, Tyrone? Turn it up loud, bro. And there's your shout out. So off the bat, I want to do that. And then I want to say our app is, I guess, live. Mm-hmm. Sort of. I mean, the new app is so much nicer. It's cleaner. It's easier. Everybody that has downloaded it so far was like, oh my God, like I can get right to what I'm looking for. It's clear as day. I mean, it's nice. It's awesome. And then Monday, we're going to have an AA meeting. So if you'd like to join us, just download the app. And over to the right, it'll say meetings. Click that, and you'll see the AA meeting. And Monday at 7, click that and join us.
So it starts at 7?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Is there a password, or is it just... It's only through the app, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, you could go other ways, but yeah, just get the app.
Get the app.
It takes 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It's a click away.
Yes. But I guess for the Google... If you got an Android phone, you go to the Google Play Store, the app is kind of set how it needs to be. I, of course, wanted to change the button the way it looks because our old button is black. Mm-hmm. But I wanted it gray. And I wanted like blue lettering. So I guess the Android phones have that app, but I don't know if it needs to be republished again through the Apple Store because it was actually in the Apple Store last week. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I got to change everything, but I'm so excited that the new app is finally here. We can do so much more with it, and stay tuned. You know, we're going to be adding a lot of features to it and stuff that you can only get through the app. Mm-hmm. So, proud of that. And also, my man Shane, I felt bad for him. Shane, we did a podcast, was it last Thursday? Mm-hmm. And... my mom told me it was a great podcast that she loved Shane, and she's like, man, you should have that guy on again, you know. And then Kevin from St. Louis, he sent me an email saying, hey, man, I was just listening to the Shane podcast, and great podcast. You guys are killing it, and should have that guy back on. Well, then I tell you to tell Shane that, and he says, well, all he heard was negative stuff.
No, he didn't say that. He said... Well, I'm glad that you said that because he got an earful from a few people.
Yeah, I guess he said...
In particular, ladies. Yeah,
he said something in this class or something he's taken or group or whatever he's doing. And he said that they called him sexist. Because we had started talking about tampons. And I'm sorry, but whoever said that he's sexist is not very intelligent. Because, like, it would be sexist if I said... Marnie, you can't do the podcast because you need tampons because you're a woman. That, to me, would be sexist. Now, for two guys discussing how awkward it is to buy tampons, that's not sexist.
Well, here's what I think what happened. I think that he probably laid the groundwork. Like, I'm going to be on this recovery podcast. Oh. And everyone should tune in to get some insight into recovery.
Which we did.
Yeah, you did. You got to it, which we always do eventually.
Corey time.
But, you know, there's always kind of a little bit of, you know, intro and discussion about just whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's on his mind. And you know, fun and recovery, banter, friendly, fun.
I think he misjudged their sense of humor.
Yes. And it's okay, though. Not everybody has the same sense of humor. And
We're not for everybody.
I think the expectations the bar was set a little high, maybe, for what this is supposed to be. But
Shane does like the podcast. He's been listening for a while. And so for him, it was like, oh my gosh, yes. But he totally misread his audience. This podcast is not, you don't want to go to church on Sunday and be like, hey, everybody, listen to this great podcast with Corey and Marnie. It's about recovery. You're going to have to go, yeah, this is, there's a couple people here I could probably tell about it. You know, and if it's someone who's in recovery or, you know, battles with substance use, they're probably going to be fine with it because we've heard lots of things and said lots of things ourselves. Now, and that's kind of what it makes me kind of leery about the people that Shane shared it with, because I think that they're supposed to be in recovery. And it leads me to believe, and you know what I'm about to say probably, dry drunks. You've heard of dry drunks.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think.
Well, dry drunks hate
No,
fun.
there's just some people that don't have the same sense of humor as others. That's it. Period. That's it.
Yeah, and they don't have to listen, but they don't need to call it sexist.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe
sexist.
that's not their cup of tea.
But seriously,
and that's fine.
Watch out for people like that, because they don't know how to have fun in recovery, and they go to AA meetings and they're still pissed off that they can't drink, and they're just, and that's all they did is stop drinking. They're not having fun in recovery. And they can't find that way to have fun. So what do? They hate.
Man.
And that's what haters do. That's their job. So I told Shane, don't worry about that, man.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate. Ain't us gonna ain't. How does that movie go?
I don't know, from the interview.
They hate us because they ain't us,
Yeah.
Shane. That's what it is. Exactly what it is. But, nah, whatever, man. Just be careful who you tell next time, man. You can't just share this podcast with anybody. It's like a secret, cool podcast.
Well, no, you make it clear all the time. Like, if you don't like it, then don't listen.
Don't listen.
It's
But don't
okay.
call us sexist.
Yeah, well, maybe they would.
You can say I'm not funny. That's fine.
Right?
And I'd be like, stop listening. And you'd be like, I did. I'm like, fine.
Oh my God, you sound like a 5-year-old.
I know, it's awesome. It's my podcast. I can do whatever I want.
I know.
It's our podcast now. Because once you get married, it now becomes everything's ours. So, okay, got that out of the way. Let's see what else is on my list of things to talk about tonight. Relapse.
It's always easy to talk about relapse.
Relapse.
Part of recovery, often.
Yeah, it's been like relapse month or week or something. It was crazy. The other day, I had a call, and I talked to this person, and I was like, okay. And then I got a call from our reoccurring friend Jamie, who's been on, who was on the podcast Drunk one time, and then, he's just back and forth. He's got his like 68th day, I think, today. So congratulations, Jamie. If you
Congratulations.
if you still have it, congratulations. But he had a moment, and he called me, and I talked to him for about an hour. And then I got off the phone with him. 10 minutes later, another call from another guy. And I was like, what is going on, man? Mm-hmm. Like, it was just back to back to back. And then yesterday, another call. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, and I started thinking about relapsing, and oh man, I did it so many times, and I was trying to like pick my own brain to like, what was I thinking? And I remember one time, and it was really bad. I drove from Grand Rapids to Benton Harbor. I was sober, but I drove, but I had gotten a paycheck. And I was like, I'm going to spend the weekend and no one's going to find me. And for some reason, I wish I could go back and really pick my brain then. And I wasn't on any kind of antidepressants or anything like that. So that probably wasn't good, But I just remember driving there thinking, I'm going to turn my phone completely off and just spend the weekend getting drunk. And I don't remember even what I thought my excuse would have been or where I had been. Maybe I thought nobody was going to be looking for me. It didn't.
How old were you?
End well. 37 maybe.
So you were just going to disappear?
38. Yeah.
And then just kind of come back and...
Boop. Yep.
Boop.
Back to work on Monday or whatever, which didn't happen. No. And yeah. Yeah. But I was just trying to think, like, why? What was I? How did I justify that to myself that was a good idea? You know, like, why would I drive all the way to Benton Harbor from Grand Rapids to find a cheap hotel room to turn my phone? Because maybe I thought nobody would find me there. Nobody would be looking for me there. And yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, I know. I feel the same way. I feel like this has not been a good month for, I mean, I've gotten a lot of individuals that had been struggling, but just in general, that whole, like, what were you thinking at that moment? Mm-hmm. I think the answer is you're not.
You're not. Well, I mean, we're thinking. It's just the addiction is thinking for us, I guess.
It's an immediate gratification thing, and we don't weigh consequences whatsoever. That is a huge thing that I feel like in hindsight, if I would have taken a minute to make that phone call, you know, or whatever, have somebody talk me through, like they say, play the tape forward. You know what I mean? That's a real thing. Like, if you really take what you're thinking about doing and play it out, how is this going to end up? And for me, I've already been in that situation before, and I know how it's going to end up. But I feel like for some reason that, like your experience, I'm just going to get away for the weekend, and I'm going to pop back into work on Monday all shiny, and they'll just be like, nobody missed me, and I'm ready and raring to go back in the world. And it never ends up that way. And yeah, it's just it's unfortunate that we don't kind of weigh out how things are actually going to end up.
Maybe I was thinking too that I didn't have anything. Like, I had nothing to lose. I mean, I was already at the bottom. Like, what am I going to lose? A job? I don't know. Like you know exactly what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, when you have that $90 to your name, it's your last $90. Your electric bill's $140. Doesn't make any sense to pay $90 on that, does it? Then you're gonna have no money. Let's go get a bottle. You know, I might as well. You know, at least I'll have something for a day or two. Mm-hmm. Which then that turns into, I just spent $90 on alcohol, which would have made more sense paying the electric bill.
Right.
And figuring something else out, you know, like, but we would just, at least I would just turn to that most wrong decision. I don't know if it was in defiance or just give up. Like, there was no purpose. I had no hope. I had no purpose. I didn't know where I was going. And, you know, and part of me at the time thought, well, if I drink enough, maybe my liver will shut down and I won't wake up.
That's, you know, when it's really, yeah, I know, I've been there too. That's when it's really bad and sad. Mm-hmm. And I feel for those people that get in those spots, because it doesn't have to be that way. And you don't, you know, it's not like, what's one more time? Because I thought that a lot too. I've gone through this. I've already messed up so many times that what's one more? You know, and that just cycle of insanity over and over and over. It wears you down, and, you know, the farther down you get, the harder it is to get yourself back up. So, you know, just know that you're worth it, and, you know, make that phone call. You know, when you're thinking about that, talk to somebody and be like, hey, this is not going to go well. You will be missed, and you know that you're not going to come back on Monday, because it won't just be a weekend.
No, and this one guy, he keeps calling everybody under the sun, and nobody wants to hear from anybody drunk, but sometimes you have to take those calls. Well, this guy, he just wants to call and chat it up. You know, it's just like, hey, man, not about, hey, I need some help. Just, hey, man, what's going on? I'm so awesome. Don't you want to talk to me? I'm drunk. I'm fun. And it's like, no, man, I really don't. I'd rather go talk to my wife right now. You know, but who do you call? You know, I could never find it. I mean, I could find him in my phone. I just never looked for him. Sponsor. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a sponsor for that long, ever. So
there's lots of sponsors that feel, well, sponsors feel different. There's lots of sponsors that will be like, call me before you pick up, but never call me after, you know. But then there's some that are like, you know, no matter what, just call me and let me know how you're doing, good or bad.
But when I made up my mind, I was gone already. I was there, you know, and sometimes I'd make up my mind a week in advance, you know, planning it out. Because they say, you know, the relapse starts way before you even take the drink, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's absolutely true.
And you can see red flags in individuals if you're around them, you know, that are in recovery and that are, you know, kind of like they're edgy and absent and, you know, there's lots of red flags you can look for family members and so on too, you know. Distant and isolation and, like I said, edginess and change of behaviors, mood, demeanor, when everything, it's just off. That's it. When things are off. They might not have gotten that bottle yet, or they might not have made that phone call for their drug of choice, but they're thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, address that. You know, what's going on with you? How are you doing? You've been, you know, what's the worst case scenario? They, you know, shove it off. Don't want to talk to you. At least you're addressing the fact that you're recognizing, you know, things don't seem right. And what can I do to help you? How can I be there for you? You know, just call a spade, man. Get it out there. And, you know, like I said, maybe something you say will, you know, make a difference.
I don't know. There's one friend that there's nothing for me to say to him. Mm-hmm. You know, and he called and he was all like messed up and left a voicemail, and it was just like, dude, what are you doing, man? And then he texted me the next day or a couple of days later. And it was like, hey, man, I'm not high. I just want to talk. And I just told him, I was like, there's nothing. I mean, I don't know. Unless you want to talk about fantasy football. I mean, what do you want to talk about? You know, like, there's nothing else I can tell you. There's no advice I could give you. You know, you got to do it on your own, man. Like, you were set up for some success a few times, and then you just kind of ran away. And I get it, man. Addiction's hard. Mm-hmm. But it also is hard on me when I have to keep answering these phone calls. You know, like, I don't know. Like, am I being selfish? I'm not sure. But I have my life that I have to live. I have things that I need to do in my life. You know, I can't keep answering these phone calls from people who just are, I don't know, trying to BS me, or they think that they're going to say the thing that I want to hear, and then, oh, okay, everything's great, you know. I'm like, no, man, just give my $28 and do what you need to do, you know. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I just have to do things for myself sometimes. And like I said, what am I going to tell him that he doesn't already know? Right. Or he hasn't already heard, you know. There's no secret that I can give him where he can be the only person that runs around and gets high and can just live forever.
Right.
You know, it's like, dude, you keep smoking meth, you're going to die or you're going to go to jail. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it at this point. You know, like, you know what needs to be done to change. It's just you don't want to do it. There you go.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. A very, very, very smart woman once said, never try to have a serious conversation with somebody who's intoxicated.
Who said that?
Our mom. Your mother, your birth mom, my mom, Sandy. But anyhow, no, it's true, though, because And I mean, it can be about anger. It can be about just complete nonsense. I mean, nothing's really going to stick. Like, my thing is, it's not like I want to shut the person down and make them more angry or make it look like I'm not willing to hear what needs to be talked about. If there's something that needs to be talked about, in terms of, solutions maybe are in there somewhere. But when you're having a conversation with somebody who's impaired, it's almost impossible sometimes to have anything that's going to have any kind of resolve to it. So I always try to just kindly be like, listen, we can have this conversation another time, but now's not it. And so get some rest, get something to eat, whatever. But I'm not gonna entertain this conversation just because it's not helpful for anybody. And they can't be mad at that. 9 times out of 10, they'll probably sort of agree with you in their own kind of way, and then you address it later on. Maybe, and some people say like let it alone and have them get a hold of you again, or do you follow up with them? I mean, for me, it's my job, so it's different. But in circumstances where it's not my job, I've done both. I've left it alone before and let the person do my pause thing where it's like, let them be. And then when they're ready, then they'll, come back to talk to you if that's what's meant to be. Or do you seek them out and say, hey, how are you doing? You were having a hard time the other day. How are things now? Sometimes they don't answer. Sometimes they do. But it's all about people know that you care. That's important.
Yeah. I usually like to call him back the next day and be like, hey, man, wasn't that fun? Wasn't that fun last night?
You would do that.
How much money you got now? None? Damn, bro. Oh, that was so much fun. I do that.
I bet you do.
Passive aggressive.
All right, yeah. Is it effective?
I like it.
For you?
It's about what I like. Yeah, and if you have a hard time getting people off the phone sometimes, because that can be like when you answered it and you're like, oh, what? And you're like, oh, Jesus, they're really drunk. There's a go-to. You're like, look, man, I have to crap so bad, I gotta go.
How did I know you were going to say that?
It works every time. Like,
right, because what are they going to do? Be like, no.
And the RIA, you can use the RIA to get out of work, use the RIA to get out of school. Pretty much anything. Except going to treatment. They'll be like, no, they got plenty of toilet paper there for you.
Right. I can just hear you saying that too.
Hey, I'm just sharing.
So if anybody ever calls Corey and he says that he's got to use the bathroom, he's really got to go, then he's making it up.
I'm not drunk, bro. That's what you need to say. Hey, buddy, I'm not drunk though. Oh. Then maybe I really do have to. I don't know, but I'm just trying to help. So it's what I do. Mm-hmm. That's what I do
in your own way.
Yes, in my own way,
special way.
Faux show. Well, those are my topics. We should read a little.
Hello.
I know this is proof that I don't edit. Review that movie we watched the other day. But it's a really long name, and I don't remember.
Help me.
No, it wasn't Help Me.
No. I've got it.
You won't get
I
very
got it.
far
Hold
or
on.
something.
Oh, man. I just had it.
You won't get very far.
Something like Don't Worry?
Oh, yeah. It might be Don't Worry. He won't get very far.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. Anyway, Jonah Hill, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jack Black was in it.
Yes.
And recovery-based movie. Lots of AA references.
Mm-hmm.
And which we were kind of surprised about because we're like, wait, what about press radio film?
Yeah, that's funny.
He was kind of just joking, but anyhow, no, it was a very entertaining movie. I enjoyed it.
A lot of Yep, been there.
Yeah, lots of that.
Don't worry, he won't get far on foot.
But this is a true story, and based on a true story, what have you. And this guy apparently drinking since he was 13, alcoholic. I'm not really sure kind of what stage of he was at when his accident happened. Definitely probably pre-contemplation because he was partying, I guess, like his whole life. But anyhow, gets into the car with Jack Black, and they end up going head on to this light pole, and he ends up paralyzed, and the other guy walks away like not a scratch on him, barely. And so it kind of goes through the story of his life and, how even then, even after that, he continued to drink, because he was depressed and upset about, his life and felt helpless. And I mean, I can't even imagine. But then, he finds a program and Jonah Hill's a sponsor, and he's back and forth, while he's struggling. But
he finds purpose.
But he finds purpose in life, yeah.
Yeah, and for something that you can't even use his hands, but then he discovers how to, and just, he becomes a cartoonist, and it's just really crazy. And that made him happy. That brought joy to his life.
Yeah, and he figures out he's a freaking funny guy. Mm-hmm. And he's got funny things to say. To make fun of, like, stuff that kind of a lot of people thought was a little coarse. Mm-hmm.
Sexist.
Yeah. Your cartoons are terrible.
Mm-hmm. But it was a good movie, though. I really enjoyed it. Don't worry, he won't get far on foot. It came out in 2018.
So I was right. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it got on Rotten Tomatoes? What percent
out
of
what?
good?
What percent of good?
Mm.
I don't know. 67?
Close.
What?
77%.
Nice.
4.5 out of on Empire, whatever that is. Mm. And then IMDb got 6.9.
Okay. Jonah Hill's a really good actor in it. They're good actors.
What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 9?
Are we talking about just in movies in general, like entertainment factor?
Yes, this movie. I know it's not going to be the Muppets Christmas Carol, which
I know
ranks it at a 9 out of 9 for you.
I know. It's great. I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably 7.5.
I give it a 6. 6 out of 9.
Okay.
Still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, never once was I like, oh my God, let's turn this off.
Mm-mm. No, and it was...
Lately, it's hard to find movies that you don't think that.
You're right. I'll bump it up to maybe a 7 out of 9. But 7 out of 9 is pretty damn good. And I don't know if it was pretty damn good, but maybe just because there was a lot of things that I could relate to.
Yeah.
The shaking when he was like, oh, I woke up sober that day, or not hungover. That's because I was still drunk from the night before, and then he has it timed out to where he has to make his way to the liquor store. And then just when he's at the liquor store trying to play it cool, like, hey, I don't have a problem with the person behind the counter, and the lady's just like, and he's like, you have to be an idiot if you didn't see my hand shaking, and
yeah, his narrative was spot on.
I've done all that, where you're just trying to, yep.
And then he had the flashbacks of like him, and everyone was like him drinking in the bath, him drinking at the park, him drinking, him, scrambling to find a bottle. And it was just, the insanity and the obsession is just really clearly laid out in that movie.
When he got the bottle and then went behind the car and like nailed down to like hide so people wouldn't see him drinking it or whatever, so he could stop his DTs, it was a feeling for me of, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not there.
Yeah, for a minute.
I'm glad that's not me anymore.
I know. There's moments when you're watching movies like that, and it's not. It's like you get a pit in your stomach. Like that's how it used to be.
Wow. Yeah, and just free.
Yeah, but it starts off just like, oh God, I remember that. Yeah.
It's a good
But
one.
you know what I thought about now that we're talking, this is random, but talking about rating movies, is we only are really going to rate ones that get decent scores, because if they were that bad, we probably would have turned them off. I mean, you ever watched a movie from beginning to end and been like, that was a 1? Mm-hmm. Really? What movie? Something I made you watch?
Yes. Sliding Doors or something.
That was a great movie.
Oh,
All right. Whoever's seen Sliding Doors out there with Gwyneth Paltrow, you know that that's not a one. That is a good movie. Entertaining.
What was the other one? Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
By First Cow.
We didn't even watch that.
Oh. You didn't make me watch that either, to be fair. But, yeah. So, if you're looking for a movie to watch, and that was on Amazon Prime.
I can't remember. I think it was Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So, it's called
My phone went off.
Don't Worry.
He Won't Get Far on Foot.
You Won't Get Far on Foot. Yeah.
Good cast, good movie.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Do you remember the guy's name in the movie?
John Callahan.
Yep. There you go.
Why did you ask me that?
Because we didn't say the name, and it's a real man.
Well, it was.
Well, yes.
Until he died 11 years ago.
Was it?
I don't know if it was on this day, but yeah. Shout out to my brother. It's his birthday.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Travis.
And that, I believe, is all I have. You got something lined to... Oh, you want to say something?
No, I'm just saying my mom's birthday's coming up.
Oh, I know. I already got her a present. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. You got something lined up for tomorrow, though? The replay?
I do.
Deep dive?
I do.
Okay.
You'll have to tune in.
Yeah, I look forward to that. And if you have our app, it separates, if you just want to go, I want to see what Marnie's replays were, you can just go do that. Mm-hmm. And the podcast is there. I'm telling you, you're really going to love the app. And the blogs are laid out nicely. Yeah, I'm proud. Thank God we don't have that horrible app anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're glad.
And it's like a church app, too. Well, not ours, but like the people who own it or whatever. And that's why as I pray to Jesus, thank you, Jesus, Lord. Mm-hmm. I'm really kind of praying to him for the app.
Grateful.
Thank you, Lord. I'm so grateful. Mm-hmm. Amen.
Good deal.
Yes. 217recovery.com. It's our website. We got some resources, stuff like that up there. Pictures of our faces. Mm-hmm. And the app has pictures of our faces too. But yeah, get the app. It's in the App Store, Google Play, or your Apple stuff. You'll find it. It's awesome. You'll love it. If you already had it, check it. It's updated.
There you go.
That's what's up. Thanks for listening. I'm not sexist all the time.
That was his apology, formal apology right there.
Sexual relationship.
That's what I meant by that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Share us with your friends if they're cool.
If they get his humor.
If they like to have a little fun in recovery, feel free to share. Otherwise, don't. Don't share this with people if they're uptight. Unless you like really hate them. Then be like, hey man, they mention you at the end of it.
And you want to
like,
have
really?
a conversation trying to defend us.
Yeah. Good luck. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Stay sober.